friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on that whenever we talk about understanding the planetary influence or impact in our life, how can we differentiate it from looking at it from your ascendant or from the moon sign? Because guys, whenever we talk about the transit of important planets like specifically Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, a lot many astrologers emphasize that you have to watch this video both from your ascendant and from your moon sign. And definitely guys, let's say for example, if someone has predicted something that when Rahu moved to Pisces and Ketu moved to Virgo sign, and when Saturn moved to the Moon Trikona sign of its own in the Aquarius, so people would have predicted different results from your ascendant, from your moon sign. That's but obvious. But main concern over here is that right now in your life, from where you are getting the major results, that is something which we will try to understand. So definitely guys, to start this video, this is going to be a video which I will explain in two parts. So in the first part, we will have our discussion on the theoretical aspect, and in the second part, I will take some reference chart and then I will try to explain you the difference between these two. So to start with, like, what is the difference between studying your chart, studying your life, studying your natal planets from your ascendant and studying it from the moon sign? Those who are new to astrology, so when I say from the moon sign, so your chart has to be in the same position. All what you have to do is that wherever your moon is placed, you have to rotate all the planets and you have to make moon as your first house, and then you have to study the chart. So guys, that's obvious. Whenever we talk about the studying the chart from the ascendant, that tell about that the way things have been granted to you in this life. And when we study the chart from the moon sign, that whatsoever you have got, how you perceive the life, that we see or we judge from the moon sign. So let me give you a very simple example. Let's say for example, someone who comes from a traditional community and he is in a very very conflicting matrimonial life, someone who is in a very abusive matrimonial life. So when we see this kind of relationship, you will definitely get the answer from the Lagan chart, from the ascendant. That from the ascendant in the 7th house, you might find the presence of Rahu over there. You might find that the 7th house is afflicted because of the presence of too many malefic influence over there. But the same chart, if you will study from the moon sign, now if you have a exalted Jupiter from the moon sign in the 7th house, like the person is a Capricorn moon, so in the 7th house you will find the exalted Jupiter. So irrespective of the fact that whatsoever this person has got as his or her fated destiny, the person still is very optimistic and has got a very positive way of finding happiness even within that conflicted matrimonial life. And so yes guys, that is what the major difference between studying the chart from the ascendant and from the moon sign. And definitely whenever we talk about the karmic planets, like you talk about the case of Saturn, Rahu or Ketu, in these kind of situations, studying the chart from the moon sign becomes more important. Like we even calculate the Sade Sati from the moon sign. Why? Because it's your Manas only, it's your moon nakshatra only, which has got the encrypted information of all the deeds done by you from the past so many lifetimes. That is the only reason that whenever Saturn Dasha comes or Saturn transit to the 12th from your moon, over your moon or next from your moon, Sade Sati starts, and Sade Sati always gets calculated from your moon sign, not from your ascendant. Like the way guys, like yesterday only I was watching this post now, which you can see on your screen. So an accident happened, there were like survivors from that accident. It was a major collision. And when the guys who survived that accident, they were just standing on the side of the road to be rescued, and then another truck came and it kind of hit them and they died there. So it's like a typical plot from the Final Destination, when you are fated to die. So irrespective of the fact that you survived one accident, but within fraction of another few minutes, death again came for you. So this is how we see the events from the Saturn Rahu Ketu, your niyati, something which is fated. So guys, that is about like when we talk about the importance of studying your natal placement from the ascendant or from the moon sign. The kind of principle which I gave you for your matrimonial life, you can same way judge it from your like you can same way judge it for your career, for all other aspect. Like let's say for example, if in someone's case, like if I were to say in my case as well, I'm a Aries Lagna, my 10th house Lord Saturn has gone to the 8th house. So that in itself tells about that there will definitely be uncertainty, fluctuation in your career. There will be instability in your career. But I'm a Aquarius moon. So from my Aquarius moon in my 10th house now, I have a very strong Mars over there, Saturn over there. So no matter the actual fated destiny about going through instability, but the way my mind function is, I'm always very strong-willed and determined no matter what happens. Regarding my career. So that is how we can see the difference between your ascendant and your moon sign. Now guys, the next part of this video is about giving emphasis to the transit, because beyond doubt when you were watching the video, when Saturn transited to Aquarius or when Rahu transited to Pisces, all the astrologers would have predicted and put this stress that you have to watch this video both from your ascendant and from your moon sign. But my concern right now is that right now at this stage where you are getting the maximum results from, Rahu is giving you maximum results from your moon sign or from your ascendant. Now to judge that is not that difficult. And again guys, in this video we will be emphasizing more on the SATURN-RAHU-KETU only, because these are the only planets which can create a big difference in your life in a very short span of time. And like the way the doctrine which I always give from the Lal Kitab, which say this thing that Rahu and Ketu are the agents of the planet Saturn. So if Saturn is like a judge, so Rahu and Ketu Rahu act as a prosecution lawyer and Ketu act as a defense lawyer. That means that when Saturn is when you will be standing in that box and under the trial of your own actions, of your own karma, so Rahu will be reminding the judge of all the misdeeds done by you, and Ketu will be reminding the judge regarding all the good deeds done by you. So okay guys, now we will shift our discussion to the next part, and now we will first take up the case of Rahu. So right now, if Rahu is transiting in the Pisces and you have heard the results that from your ascendant and from your moon sign, now you have to make this comparison that where exactly you are getting the maximum results from. So guys, to check that or to compare that is not very difficult. See, like the way we say this thing, Mercury is your mind and Rahu represents the thoughts which comes to your mind. So all what matters is that you have to just make a fair calculation and comparison between. You can see it as a scale of your ideas versus actual manifestation. So let's say for example, if in the like it's been almost 2.5 months ever since Rahu and Ketu have changed signs. So now we have to make this comparison that from the moon sign, it will represent the kind of ideas you are being overwhelmed with in the sign of Pisces, wheresoever it is falling in your chart. And studying this Pisces sign where Rahu is transiting from the ascendant is about the actual manifestation. So when we talk about Rahu, it is always a scale of ideas versus actual manifestation. That will give you a fair idea about that whether this transit is working out more for you from the moon sign or from the ascendant. And this is a kind of a thumb rule which you have to always follow in life whenever specifically it comes down to nodes and Saturn. So now let's take a very simple example. Now if for example you are a Capricorn moon, so that in itself means that Rahu right now is transiting third house from your moon. So all what you have to do is that you have to see that if Rahu represents the ideas, so from the past 2.5 months, what kind of ideas are coming to you pertaining to the matters of, shall I get some new skill, shall I enroll for some new course or some new certification, how you're getting along well with your siblings, with your friends. Because you know this thing that whenever we talk about the innate quality of the Pisces, it has got the energy of surrender or too much of the absorption. So how things are working out for you in the domain of the third house from your moon sign where right now Rahu is transiting. And definitely guys, let's say for example in the same scenario, if you are a Taurus Lagna, so that means that Rahu from your Lagna is now transiting in your 11th house. So now we have to make a clear difference that how much you have actually manifested ever since Rahu has transited to the 11th house from your Lagna. That will give you a fair idea between the scale of ideas versus actual manifestation. A lot many times, guys, because the major setback with the Rahu is that Rahu can actually make someone very delusional, someone who is always living in fantasy and all. And when we talk about all those people who also turn their ideas into big business plans, these are also the people who are being governed by the planet Rahu. Like the way we always say this thing, that the influence of Rahu can take you to prison, can take you mental asylum, or can take you to the Silicon Valley. So it all comes down to that in which domain or higher octane the energy of Rahu is working out for you. So that is the one thing, or kind of a one homework which you have to do after watching this video, that you have to answer me that ever since Rahu has moved to the Pisces, in this scale of ideas versus actual manifestation, what is working out more for you? Whatever you have heard theoretical aspect, astrology is a tried, tested and a practical science. That is the only reason K.N. Rao sir has been considered as the legendary figure in the world of astrology, because he has not only written books, he has done the actual practical assessment and study of hundreds of charts. So all what I'm saying is that now today you have to do this self introspection, that ever since Rahu has changed signs, in this scale of ideas versus actual manifestation, what is working out for you? Now guys, let's move to the another planet for today, which is the planet Saturn. Now the way we can see or check Saturn, like making a comparison between your moon sign and the ascendant. So it can be seen as a scale of the fated events versus your self-attained accomplishments. Now what I meant with that, so now guys, as you know this thing, that Saturn is a planet of justice. Definitely the innate quality of Saturn is it is a very slow moving planet. Whatever it will grant you, it is gonna take its own time. Wheresoever Saturn is going to be transiting, or let's say for example if you are also in the dasha of the planet Saturn, all the major events of your life will slow down. But that does not mean that Saturn will not lay foundation for something very big or substantial for you. So all what matters is that if you will check or judge the Saturn's presence or Saturn's transit from your moon sign and the ascendant, a lot many times when people remain lucky in climbing the ladder of their success, that is also the time when they are going through the major setback in their health, they are going through some major catastrophe in their personal life, in the matters of their emotional mental peace as well. So all what you have to do is that you have to see that wheresoever Saturn is transiting right now from your moon sign has some sort of fated events where you kind of find or found yourself very helpless to the clutches of the destiny. Had those kind of events happened in your life ever since Saturn has moved to the Aquarius sign, or wheresoever Aquarius is falling in your chart from your moon sign, you have to see and you have to do an introspection of the fated events which has started happening for you. And the second thing is that when you have to see the Saturn's transit in the Aquarius from your ascendant, then you have to see that in that specific domain with your own efforts, self-initiated efforts, have you kind of remained lucky in accomplishing something substantial or not? Are you doing something where you are gonna have a grip over the masses? So guys, the summary is, when we talk about the Saturn and judging or comparing its placement, its transit from your moon sign to ascendant, it's always the scale of your fated events versus your self-attained accomplishments. Now guys, the third planet for today is the planet Ketu. Now you know this thing that Ketu is a very mysterious planet, but if you have to make a comparison between that ever since Ketu has moved to the Virgo sign, how energies are working out for you, or how you can differentiate the role or the transit of Ketu comparing it with your moon sign and with your ascendant. So that's very simple. Ketu's presence right now in the Virgo from your moon sign, wheresoever it is transiting, are you kind of finding some sort of intuitive awareness in the domain of that house? Second thing is that also guys, because whenever Ketu is transiting in the Virgo, or any planet is transiting in the Virgo, Virgo represents the quality of the health, healing, herbs, perfectionism, discipline. So wheresoever Ketu is right now transiting from your moon sign, you have to answer me that in the comment section. that before you were not very disciplined when it comes down to your meditation schedule, when it comes down to your religious austerities. But ever since Ketu has transited to the Virgo sign from your moon sign, now you have started becoming very disciplined pertaining to your discipline for the meditation and all the religious austerities. And also because wherever Ketu is transiting from your moon sign, are people connected with that house are also helping you to attain that. Now let's say for example, if you are a Cancer Lagna, so has it happened that in the past 2.5 months now you're getting those friends, your neighbors, like there's a next door neighbor who has recently contacted you, or someone in the WhatsApp group approached you that hey, this new art of living camp is starting, let's join for that, or let's go for that meditation classes and all. So that is the one thing which you have to do a self introspection. Now the second difference is that when we talk about Ketu's transit in the Virgo and making a comparison of it or judging it from the ascendant, so over there it definitely gives that degree and sense of detachment. So is it actually happening for you that wheresoever Ketu is right now transiting from your ascendant, are you actually kind of finding yourself detached from the physical attributes of that house? This could be a case that, let's say for example, you are a Sagittarius Lagna, so that means Ketu right now is transiting in your 10th house. So are you kind of finding yourself a bit distanced from your bosses with your job responsibilities? Before you used to take many accountability for all the tasks assigned to you, but now you are more inclined towards delegating it to the other people, or that sort of camaraderie which you used to enjoy with your bosses, now that is lacking. So that is the one thing, or it's kind of a homework which you have to do, and you have to write in the comment section that Ketu's transit from the moon sign and the ascendant, what is strongly working out for you. So yes guys, this was just a basic introductory video. I did not get much time yesterday because I relived my memories, because yesterday I had the time and opportunity to visit the central part of the Delhi, and I also went to see the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, and I have got so many of the memories of that place. They offer some of the best courses on the occult subjects, and I also ended up watching a live play theatre group where they depicted the Mahabharata in a very new light. So yeah, it was a very good day, and my main to-do list on this topic is that now I will present you some of the celebrity charts and all, and then I will explain you that how this scale, like when we talk about Rahu, we discussed that Rahu represents, comparing it with your moon sign and the ascendant, Rahu represents the scale of your ideas versus actual manifestation. Saturn represents the scale of your fated events versus self-attained accomplishment. Ketu represents your intuitive awareness versus degree and sense of detachment. How it has worked for the celebrities in their personal life, in their professional life, in their public image as well. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and please follow my Instagram account as well. Dhanyavad.